Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. For decades, Europe depended on Russian pipelines and US LNG to power its energy needs. Now, a seismic shift is unfolding as Canada, armed with abundant natural gas and strategic geography, emerges as a fresh alternative. Europe's push for diversification and cleaner energy has turned its gaze towards a promising LNG partnership with Canada, potentially pressuring US suppliers and reshaping energy geopolitics. Let's explore the 7 key drivers behind Canada's rapid LNG ascent. Number 7. Europe's urgent need for energy diversification. Europe's reliance on a single dominant energy supplier has repeatedly led to crises. The reliance on Russian gas became a significant vulnerability when geopolitical tensions escalated, leading to supply cuts and soaring energy prices. The 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine exposed Europe's overdependence on Russian energy, forcing urgent policy shifts. While the US stepped in as an LNG supplier, rising costs and rigid contract terms forced European leaders to look elsewhere. Canada offers a fresh alternative with political stability, lower transport costs, and extensive natural gas reserves. Moreover, Europe's aggressive climate policies push for a transition to lower carbon sources, with Canadian LNG touted as a cleaner alternative to coal and traditional gas. European policymakers are now prioritizing long-term diversification strategies to prevent future disruptions. Canada's ability to supply reliable LNG could be the missing piece in Europe's energy puzzle, while also aligning with the continent's long-term sustainability goals. Number 6. Canada's competitive edge over the US. Canada's geographic advantage gives it a strong position in the LNG market. Shipping LNG from Canada's eastern coast to Europe is far cheaper than transporting it from the US Gulf Coast. Additionally, Canada's vast, untapped natural gas reserves allow for more competitive pricing, with minimal reliance on price fluctuations caused by supply chain disruptions. Furthermore, Canada's political and trade relations with Europe remain strong, while the US faces ongoing trade tensions with major European economies. As new LNG export terminals come online in Canada, the country's ability to undercut US pricing and offer flexible contracts is drawing increased attention from European buyers. Additionally, Canada's lower energy production costs, thanks to abundant natural resources and a streamlined regulatory process, give it a further edge. If the US fails to adapt its strategy, Canada could carve out a dominant position in this lucrative market. Number 5. The rise of LNG megaprojects in Canada. The LNG Canada project in Kitimat, British Columbia, is the most ambitious energy infrastructure initiative Canada has undertaken. With backing from energy giants like Shell, Total Energies, and Petronas, this project is set to process up to 2 billion cubic feet of gas per day when it becomes operational in 2025. Meanwhile, Quebec is reevaluating its LNG policies, potentially opening up new export hubs. Additional projects like Woodfibre LNG and Pieridae Energy's Goldboro project in Nova Scotia are also gaining traction. Billions are being invested in pipeline expansions and new terminals, positioning Canada to challenge energy powerhouses like Qatar, the US, and Australia in the LNG export market. If these projects meet their expected capacity, Canada could see its LNG exports triple by 2030, cementing its place as a key player in the global energy industry. Before we delve deeper, do us a favor and smash that like and subscribe button. This helps us reach more auto enthusiasts just like you. Now let's shift gears and steer towards our next point. Number 4. European buyers' preference for flexible LNG contracts. European nations have expressed frustration with long-term contracts that lock them into fixed pricing structures, limiting their ability to respond to market fluctuations. Historically, US LNG suppliers have favored lengthy contracts with rigid terms, tying buyers into decade-long commitments. Canada's LNG approach offers an alternative, more flexible contract terms and better access to the spot market. This is a major selling point for European buyers looking to secure energy supplies without the constraints of rigid agreements. Canada's flexible approach to LNG pricing enables countries to adjust their energy mix based on evolving demands, ensuring greater security of supply. By accommodating these preferences, Canada enhances its attractiveness as an LNG supplier, potentially outpacing U.S. competitors who may be less willing to offer such terms. Additionally, Canada's ability to provide lower-carbon LNG could make it an even more attractive option for European nations aiming to hit their climate targets. Number 3. The U.S. faces increasing pressure to stay competitive. Canada's emergence as an LNG supplier is forcing U.S. exporters to rethink their strategies. American LNG suppliers are now under pressure to renegotiate contracts, lower prices, and offer additional incentives to maintain market share. Some U.S. energy producers are even lobbying for government subsidies to maintain competitiveness. If Canada continues its expansion and successfully captures a significant portion of Europe's LNG demand, U.S. suppliers could lose billions in future revenues. U.S. policymakers are now debating potential responses, including tax breaks for LNG exporters and diplomatic efforts to ensure continued trade agreements with European buyers. This competition is driving discussions within U.S. energy policy circles on how to maintain their global dominance in LNG exports. Number 2. The global LNG trade war is escalating. The global LNG landscape is becoming a battleground. Russia is redirecting its focus toward China, and Middle Eastern suppliers are offering substantial discounts to retain European customers. Canada's entry into this competitive landscape is disrupting traditional trade patterns. The shift in LNG supply chains is also affecting South American markets, where Canada is increasingly seen as a reliable supplier. With its ability to provide stable and competitively priced LNG, Canada is attracting interest not only from Europe, but also from Asian markets. Countries such as Japan, South Korea, and India have signaled interest in expanding LNG partnerships with Canada, potentially reshaping the entire global supply chain. This shift is reshaping global energy alliances and compelling existing players to adapt to the new dynamics or risk losing their foothold. Number 1. Canada's LNG expansion could redefine global trade routes. Perhaps the most significant long-term impact of Canada's LNG expansion is the potential to reshape global trade routes. With its strategic location, Canada can efficiently supply both the Pacific and Atlantic markets. The Pacific Corridor offers direct access to China, Japan, and South Korea, while the Atlantic Corridor provides a vital alternative for European nations seeking to diversify their energy sources away from Russian and Middle Eastern supplies. Additionally, Canada's LNG projects are benefiting from newly optimized shipping routes and infrastructure investments, reducing transport times and costs. As these routes gain prominence, Canada's role in global LNG logistics will strengthen, granting it significant leverage in future energy negotiations and solidifying its position as a key player in the global energy market. Final verdict: is Canada set to ignite a global LNG revolution? Canada's bold foray into LNG is stirring the global energy arena. With lower transportation costs, adaptable contracts, and rapid infrastructure growth, the nation is positioning itself as a key contender to satisfy Europe and Asia's mounting energy demands. Yet, environmental challenges, regulatory roadblocks, and stiff competition from established players like the US and Qatar remain on the horizon. Canada's future hinges on its ability to carve out new pipeline routes while upholding clean energy commitments, a true litmus test for reshaping global LNG dynamics. What do you think? Can Canada sustain its momentum and revolutionize global LNG trade? Have you witnessed similar transformative shifts in other energy sectors? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the evolving LNG landscape, be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest vehicle updates and upcoming videos from Piston Pundit. Thank you for watching. See you next time.